All right, good afternoon, everyone. This is our June AUCHU monthly mastermind meeting. So I need to be able to see someone's face so I can know that everything is working on my end as far as the internet because I am on travel, and so the internet may not be the best where I am, but I hope we can get through this without a problem. So at least somebody. So thank you, Jamila. So if I can at least see someone's face and they're moving and it's not glitching, that would be great. So let me go ahead and get our presentation up. Just a second. There we go. Okay, so it's going to make me share my screen first. Okay. All righty, here we are. Let me get my presentation here. Present. There we go. Okay, great, wonderful. All right, let's see if I can get this out. There we go. Okay, wonderful. All right. If at any time it starts to glitch, now I can't see your faces. I would definitely need you all to let me know by sending something in the chat, sending me a text or something, okay? All right, so welcome to our June AUCHU uh, monthly meeting. This is our homeschool mastermind meeting. And this month, I wanted to focus on homeschooling high school with confidence, okay? And every year at this time, once I've completed transcripts for everyone, I know what I'll do. Just give me one moment. Let me get on my phone too with Zoom. Once I have finished and completed all of the transcripts for those families who turn them in, I always feel like I need to give some instruction, some insight, some training on, uh, preparing for transcripts. There's always a lot of questions, or some people are missing some things. And so I've learned very well that I need to do this. So that's why I am doing this presentation. Okay. All right, Rosa. Okay. Thank you, Rosa. Good. I appreciate the text to let me know. And so this is going to be very, very detailed. Normally, our mastermind meetings are only about 30 minutes, but this one is going to take a little longer. And then I definitely want to give time and opportunity. There we go. Time and opportunity for any. Okay. Give time for any questions and thoughts and concerns or anything like that. So this is going to be a pretty long one. But the great thing is it's going to be recorded, and then you can always go back and look at this information, listen to this information again. You can definitely, again, contact me with questions and insights. And this will be on YouTube, but it will also come to your email inbox for those who are members. Okay. All right. So let's get started. So this is our workshop outline, quite a bit. First, of course, I will go through our welcome and introduction to tell you a little bit about myself. Then we will talk about the objective. What is my goal for this workshop for all of us? Understanding South Carolina Option 3 high school requirements and what that means for us homeschooling under Option 3. Number 4, we'll talk about course planning. What course subjects and electives are great to be on your transcript, on your children's transcript? Number 5, we'll discuss credits, course hours, and grading. Number 6, assess student work with fair and meaningful grading practices. Number 7, prepare clear, accurate transcripts and what those look like. Number 8, award full, half, quarter credits. Number 9, we will talk about explore engaging high school course ideas in math, science, social studies, literature, and composition. Actually, we're going to do this part right at number 4. Okay, so I realize I don't need to do it that way. So we're going to discuss number 9 information at number 4 point. Number 10, find the balance between academic excellence and student enjoyment. Number 11, preparation for AUCHU's yearly individual homeschool graduation plan. We'll have question and answer session, and then any final takeaways and contact information I'll share with you. So as we go through this, if you have questions, you can type them in the chat box or just jot them down so that we can talk about them at the end, okay? If it's something that you need to clarify at that very moment, just send a message here because I won't be able to see my screen otherwise. Just send a message in the chat and I will respond. So, who am I? I am Angela Fafali Nyarko. I am a homeschool mom now, 25 years to 8 children. The children in the blue box, now adding this guy here in this pink shirt, he will come over to the blue box. To all of those who have already graduated out of high school from homeschool, all the way through. And then I have my last 3, which will be the twins. They are still homeschooling, and Benjamin. So these are my 8. She's my oldest. Started with her when she was 4. She's 29 next month, so that's 25 years of homeschooling. So that I started in the year 2000, and then also I started in the year 2000 homeschooling, started in Virginia, and then moved to South Carolina. And then in 2014, I started this homeschool association. I just felt that at that point, I had a lot of knowledge and insights in my brain and experience to share. And I wanted to encourage people to home educate their children in this state of South Carolina. So so this is 11 years of being a director of this Option 3 association. Let's talk about the objective. Okay. So the objective is to equip South Carolina home educators with the practical knowledge, tools, and confidence needed to successfully plan, assess, and document their high school students' education under South Carolina Option 3. So that is the objective, okay? Additionally, this workshop will empower parents to choose appropriate courses aligned with legal requirements and post-graduation goals. Accurately assign, let me admit someone just a moment. Okay, accurately assign credits and grades and create strong transcripts, ensuring both academic success and a positive homeschooling experience for parent and student alike. So let's understand what South Carolina Option 3 high school requirements are. What are they? Well, South Carolina High School Diploma Equivalent Expectations. Now, first of all, I need to emphasize, very at the top, it says this is recommended. It's not mandated under Option 3. Option 3 does not have a clear mandate of what is required for high school, besides what they list in the Option 3 law: math, science, social studies, reading and writing. When the students are 7th to 12th grade, the reading and writing changes to literature and composition. So what do we do once our kids go into high school and they don't have a clear mandate of what needs to be taught? Great question. What we then do is we move into what South Carolina requires of their public school students to study in order to graduate. Okay. So that's what we do. We get in line with that. And the reason why we do that is because most of the colleges and university, if your student is going on to college, university studies, they know what's required in South Carolina for graduation, for their students to graduate successfully. So that our students, homeschool students, will also meet that requirement or have what those colleges and universities are looking for. We then fall under or we'll follow what is required for graduating from public school in South Carolina. Even still, I will list these things out for you, what is good to see on the transcript for graduation, but you, the home educator, get to choose still what you are okay with having on your student's transcript for graduation. It could be this list, you can change it, you can add it, it's up to you. The other part of it is depending on if your student, if they do go to college or university, if they go in South Carolina or out of state, that also could affect what your student will be studying. Case in point, my third child went off to Mississippi to a private college there, a university there where she was studying violin performance. And they had a different requirement of what they wanted to see on her transcript. Okay. And it wasn't the same requirements as South Carolina. Consequently, she had met all of those requirements, which the university in Mississippi required to be on her transcript. She met all of those by the time she was 15, and they were ready to accept her at 15. She wasn't ready to go. So we waited a year and she went off to Mississippi to university at 16, graduated when she was 20, finished her master's in 22, 23. And now, well, she's done now. She's just finished her studies, her secondary level of studies in violin performance. So then I will always say, if your student plans to go to college or university, contact that school to find out what they want to see on that transcript. And if your student doesn't know just yet, then let's follow the requirements that South Carolina requires for graduation, okay, for graduating. Hopefully that makes sense. Always revert to the school that your child may be going to if they're considering college or university, and depending on their degree study, find out from them what they want to see on that transcript and then track their studies accordingly. If they're military, entrepreneur, they may work before making any final decisions, then err with at least having what South Carolina requires. But again, it's up to you. So here's recommended, not mandated, but this is a helpful benchmark. This is a starting point, which I was just saying. English language arts, 4 credits. Math would be 4 credits. Science with lab is 3 credits. A lot of times families would do just science and not lab. That's up to you as a home educator, but having labs with the sciences are always a great option. Next, PE or health, 1 credit. Foreign language, 1 credit. But again, that depends on you and the school. Some colleges may require 2 years of a foreign language. Fine arts, 1 credit, which fine arts fall under electives really. Computer science, 1 credit. South Carolina requires that of their students. Personal finance, they just added that. So now you will see this come onto AUCHU's transcripts. Have they done a personal finance course? And then electives, at least 6. Now, like I said, fine arts is an elective. Computer science will fall under as an elective. Personal finance will fall under as an elective. And then any extra courses of social studies, math, English, math, and science. Any of those, if they do extra studies of those can also fall as electives. And the reason why I said extras is because you see science is only 3 credits. So that's technically 3 years. What if they do a fourth year science? You could keep that as an elective or keep it under science. Same thing with social studies. And I will explain that as you see our transcript. Parents can legally customize their child's courses. However, as I mentioned before, this framework is excellent for college or career readiness. Okay. Note, while option 3 requires math, science, social studies, literature composition, those are together as one course, to be studied yearly, some courses will not be studied each year because of the number of credits required. So again, let's look at that. Science is only 3 credits, so technically that would be 3 years of studies. Okay. Social studies, only 3 credits. Again, technically, there's 3 years of studies. All right. So that's what I mean by that. Let's move on. Now, this is where we're going to get very detailed, talking about course planning, some specific course subjects and electives you can consider. Families always, 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 always ask me what courses will fall under math or what's required or can they do this or can they do that. So let's talk about that in detail. Any high school, college prep, let's start off with this. Any high school, college prep courses that students study in middle school will automatically become honors. Okay. The thought process is if they're in middle school taking a high school course, then for their level, it should be honors. That's what South Carolina has in place. Okay. Let me just clarify some verbiage too. When we say college prep, that's just another word for high school course. Okay. College prep is another word for high school course. And I should have did a slide on this. And let's talk about honors. Okay. Students, as I mentioned in middle school, taking high school courses, or another word is college prep courses, they will automatically become honors, except for typing and PE. But when they're ninth grade to 12th grade, if they would like to take an honors course or you would like to have their course that they're studying become honors, there's 2 requirements that has to be taken into consideration. One, you must create a syllabus. I will call it an honor syllabus for that course. This is important. Everyone listen clearly. In that syllabus, you have to list just the regular studies the student would do as a college prep course. Let's talk about biology, for example. So you want to make biology an honors course. Fine, that's great. Then you have to create a syllabus. And in your syllabus, indicate what they would learn if this biology course was just college prep, just a high school course. And then you have to list what they've studied or will study, depending on when you give me this syllabus, what they will study or what they studied to make that course honors. What did they do over and above that biology course or whatever the high school course is? What did they do over and above the basic college prep studies that made that an honors course? And the cool thing is that you get to choose what that will be. If it's biology, maybe you will require them to do, instead of 4 labs for the year, 2 additional labs, making it 6. Maybe you will require that they do a written project or have to do a major project or study an advanced biology section, or you get to choose what that will be, whatever you choose to make it honors. But I am always asking that you send that syllabus to me. So before I will say, yes, this is an honors course, I want to see it so that I can say, truly, this is an honors course. I learned the hard way where I was not reviewing students or parents' syllabi for honors, what they called honors. And the student went off to college and it was questioned by the college. This is not truly honors. I think it was something maybe at that time, I'm going to say this is what it was, but I'm not sure. I can't remember, it was some years ago, but the parent just required the student to complete the entire book, do all the tests and all the quizzes, and they called that honors. That was when I was very new. And I didn't know that I needed to check behind a parents to make sure honors are truly honors. And the college said, nope, that's not honors. And they changed their GPA. And I don't ever want that to happen to any of my members or any of you who may be looking at this on YouTube or wherever you may get this information. And it comes into question. This is not an honors course. This is all the student did. That's not honors. So I ask that you turn that into me either at the beginning of the year or at the end of the year so that I can truly say if this is an honors worthy course. So you have college prep, then you have honors. Then the next category would be dual enrollment. Dual enrollment is exactly what it says. The student is taking classes in college and that credit, that what they took in college counts also as a course for high school. Okay, and we'll talk about credits in a moment. I won't jump into that information just yet. And then the fourth is AP courses. These are the four different categories that a student can have. AP courses are uh, a course that is written by the College Board. Okay, you can't just have a course that they're taking and say it's AP. No, AP courses are all written and created by the College Board, which is an entity in the country that oversees SAT testing and scores and different type of testings. Okay, so the College Board creates the AP course. It is administered to different schools, and they have to have an AP certified teacher to teach that course. Okay. If it doesn't meet those two requirements, then it's not an AP course. Okay. Great. And those are the four courses. And an AP course, what is that? That is a college course that a student can take while they're in high school and receive credit for it. But the rigor and all of that has been determined by the College Board who created it. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. But if you have questions, let me know. Those are the four categories we would always be talking about: college prep, honors, dual enrollment, AP. There's one other, but we don't really have that in this country. We have it, it's in other countries. So, okay, did I skip one? No. So let's talk about what are some courses what does high school English look like and what can fall under that? So when we talk about high school English, it's generally going to be saying English 1, English 2, English 3, English 4. The student has to have 4 credits of English. English, any of these Englishes will include literature studies, spelling. It can include spelling, composition for sure. It could include comprehension studies, and it could include grammar. But generally, English in high school will consist of literature and composition. Composition is the student learning how to creatively write, how to cite paper, how to write persuasive papers, essay papers, argumentative papers, different papers like that. Okay, I'm going to admit someone in. Okay. So that's where composition falls into play and what the student will actually be learning. Okay, let me see. Yes, you got it. All right. If you have spelling, we cannot put spelling as a high school course on the transcript. I wouldn't do that. Okay. Again, you're the parent. I will surrender to whatever you choose, but high school level is not learning spelling. They're not really focusing on comprehension as a single subject, nor grammar. Grammar is generally doing, the formative schooling years, but we can put all of that together under an English 1, English 2, English 3, English 4 course. Okay. Types of Englishes that the student can study. Again, you need to have 4 credits, 1 each year. If the student does like a college setup of studies, then they would do, and that would look like by semester. So they're doing one college, maybe one English one semester, another English second semester. But they have to have the rigor in studies there. So here's the different Englishes. There's many. You have world literature, which we often call world lit or American lit, British lit, literature and film, African literature, or any cultural literature you want to say. Okay. That could be Indian literature, that could be um, whatever other literatures there are based on your culture. Mythology and classical literature, advanced composition, essay writing, dual enrollment English courses. So if they take an English 101 in college, and then that will also go onto their transcript. Let's talk about math. Math requires 4 credits. Generally, on a high school transcript, we're going to see Algebra 1 and above. But note that some high school students do take pre-algebra. It can be on the high school transcript, but generally it's not considered high school level course. Okay. 4 credits required: Algebra 1, 2, geometry, pre-calculus, calculus, trigonometry, business math, consumer math, statistics, and probability. And then, of course, your dual enrollment college maths. Any of these maths will work. You just need to have 4 credits of them, okay? High school social studies requires 3 credits. What does that generally look like? Generally, you are going to do United States history and Constitution 1. Generally, you're going to do half a credit of economics and half a credit of United States government, making that 2 credits. Then for the third one, you get to choose world history, world geography, Western civilization, debate, current affairs, psychology, sociology, um, but 3, okay? Other ones could be religions of the world, law and justice, world wars, like the student studies different wars that has happened, civics, and citizenship, okay? Just a quick note about civics, as I'm so proud of my kids. We did this study last year, I think it was last year, civics, where I took the naturalization test. It's available online. It's 100 questions. So anyone who wants to become a United States citizen, they have to take this naturalization test, which is nothing more than civics. How does our country work? All the legal law, how our government is set up, all of that. And I had my students study this. They had to, only way they could pass it if they got every question right, meaning pass that course on civics. And it was very detailed. A lot of that information we as citizens don't even know. Okay. So that's a great course that can fall under social studies. It only requires 3 credits, but if they're doing 4 years, you could do another. And if they really love social studies, you could have many, which will fall under electives. Science with a lab, 3 credits. Again, you get to choose if it's going to be with a lab or not, but with a lab is the norm for public school. Can you send that link to that test, please? If I can find it, but all you have to do, Rosa, is basically just Google United States naturalization test. I could go back into their Google Classroom and find it, but I just Googled it and found it. Okay, but if you send me a text and remind me, I can send it to you. So science with lab, 3 credits. Choose any of these, any of them. Physical science, biology, chemistry, physics, earth science, marine science, environmental science, health science, astronomy, forensic science, agricultural science. My kids did a free health science course that Stanford University was doing. If you want that, I can send you that. They have a lot of free courses. If you're not in the Discord, you're missing getting a lot of insights and resources that we share in there. We have one member, her name is Angela Mays. She shares resource after resource after resource, and that's how I came across this Stanford University offering all of these free courses. I had one student who wanted to do health science, another student wanted to do something else. They each chose the course from Stanford University. Next, fine arts, 1 credit. This fall is the list for fine arts is huge. We can do visual arts, which includes drawing, um, digital, painting. Visual arts is huge. Okay, you can Google that and find out. Dance falls under fine arts, theater, and then just the study of music. If they're studying as learning an instrument, music appreciation. I just posted in the Discord today an amazing site I came across again that I had when my kids were younger. I wanted them to know what all the instruments of the orchestra sound like. And so this website, I just posted it in the Discord. I forget what it was, a college. But again, just so they can understand the workings of orchestra. And guess what we did in this course? They studied all of those instruments, and then I start taking them to actual orchestra symphony performances. Uh, at that time, 3 of my kids were studying violin. One was piano, all classical. And so this was a great course that's available. So music is huge. You can focus on jazz, you can focus on blues, you can focus on bluegrass, whatever it is that you want to have them study or they like to study. Next, computer science requires 1 credit. Here's a list of different ideas for that. Typing, intro to computer science, just computer science itself, programming, intro to coding, or just coding itself, cyber security fundamentals, computer hardware and networking, digital animation, game design, AI courses. Now, I will say that Khan Academy, that's where we did computer science, we did programming, we did coding, we learned about cybersecurity fundamentals, and then I found a course on AI, or I constructed an AI course for them. So any of these, let's talk about electives. You want at least 6. It used to be 7, but now 6 electives looks good on the high school transcript in South Carolina. Here's the list. Electives are endless because electives can encompass just life and what we do. So career and technical education, culture and global studies, social and behavior sciences, technology, media, life skills, Bible, faith-based and character building. Electives are huge, okay? You just think of it, create it, and it can be construction, helping gardening, agriculture. Um, the list is just totally endless. Personal finance, that's a new one that within the last year that South Carolina is now requiring for all of their students to have on their transcript before graduation. So I'm including that, as I mentioned before earlier. Now, uh, personal finance will be required, or you would see that on the transcript this coming this year moving forward, 2025, 2026 year moving forward. So here's a list of options. Here's a list of options that falls under personal finance. And this is great because honestly, with my first child and my second one, I didn't do a lot of personal finance. And so uh, they didn't feel prepared as adults um, when it came to doing their taxes. Toria, if you can put yourself on mute. So, they complained, thank you. Then, they complained and said, I was not prepared for taxes, blah, 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 blah. Um, and I didn't talk to them much about stocks and real estate and investing. So let me tell you, my last ones, they got it and they studied it every year ad nauseum for 4 years, 4 years or 5 years. Every year is the same information, the same program. But I wanted to make sure they were ready. I still didn't touch taxes, but I touch on taxes as they graduate. But in this course I had them do, they learned about real estate and investing and banking and savings. And it was like 8 things in this one course. So here's a list. I won't go through it. Insurance basics, that's great. our kids need to know about that and how it works. Housing and transportation, college and career. If your child is working a job and they're getting money, or you can teach them how to save it, budget it. Budgeting, personal finance is a lot. Cyber currency. My brain was throwing a blank. It's not called cyber currency. What am I trying to say? I can't think of the word. I still can't think of it, but Bitcoins. Is that right? Bitcoins? And that's what I'm trying to say, not cybersecurity, but Bitcoin, crypto. Thank you, Rosa. I could not think of the word. I'm like typing this up. I'm like, what is that word? What is that word? Yeah, crypto. So yes, teach them that because that's where their future will see it a lot. Now it's here in our lifetime too, but it's in different countries. It's not so big here in the States, but it's growing. Um, okay, let's go. Okay, so let's talk about, wait a minute. I jumped too far. Sorry, hold on. There we go. Okay, so number 5, here we are. Credits, courses, course hours, and grading. Let's talk about what that looks like, okay? So credits, when it comes to credits in high school, you can give 1 credit, half credit, quarter credit, 3/4 of a credit. But the way it helps you to break down is just think about hours, okay? And this is very, very subjective. 120 hours equals 1 credit, all right? What if the student is on a fast pace to getting things done and they're doing semesters? Then they may not study 120 hours, but they may complete the book full of studies, but it didn't take them 120 hours. So it's kind of subjective, but this gives you an idea of how much a credit worth is. So let's talk about dual enrollment courses. Dual enrollment courses, students receive 1 credit on their high school transcript. So it doesn't matter if they're in college, taking a college course as a high school student, and they earn 3 credits, 2 credits, 4 credits for that course they took in college. On their college transcript, it will show 2, 3, or 4 credits, but always, always on their high school transcript, it's only going to show 1 credit. Uh, that's it, only 1 credit. They will not get 2, 3, 4 credits for one class on a high school transcript. Okay, so that's, let me see, anything else? And I'll talk about grading in just a little bit. Okay, so that's that. Let's talk about assessing. Here's our grading. Assess student work with fair and meaningful grading practices. And what does that look like? This is very subjective because you get to choose as the home educator how you want to grade your student. The Option 3 law doesn't lay it out. Like in public school, their grade is based on tests and work completed and projects and a whole lot of things. And in homeschool, we get to choose. So here are some thoughts you can consider. I use a mix of all of these depending on the subject, depending on the year. I will use any of these methods. So number 1, just keep in mind that grades should reflect comprehension, the student's progress, and their effort, not just test scores, okay? So just keep that in mind. In public school, a lot of times the focus is on test scores, but in homeschool, it's just not test scores, it's all of it. 2, use a mix of objectives. Quizzes and tests. For math, I base their grade based on quizzes and tests, not so much on their day-to-day work. Maybe you may choose to focus on the grades from day to day and not so much on quizzes and tests for math. It's up to you. And subjective, essays and projects, those are all subjective on how well they did, what their grade will be. Maybe you create a rubric saying if you do this, these 5 or 6 things, you get 10, 20 points for each of these things. So it's kind of up to you how you want to judge their essay writing and projects. For essay writings, I'm constantly, right now, we're in the thick of writing. Um, they're reading their literature book and they're doing writing. And I keep giving them a little bit more that I need to see in their writing. Now, I want you to take out what I call banned words. I don't want to see got in your paper. I don't want to see um, said, she said, he said, these simple, easy words. And I'll keep giving them more and more. And if they follow my rubrics or begin to show my flow of how their writing should be, then I grade accordingly. Provide clear expectations up front. Do a rubrics. Give them a criteria of what you're looking for. Explain to them the learning goals that you're expecting. If they're studying world wars, okay, great. Let them know what your expectations of satisfactorily finishing that class, that course will be. Will you require them to learn all the wars in order, how they happen? Or would you require them to be able to explain about 4 of the many wars that happen in the world? What would be your criteria, okay, for whatever that subject is? You know that up front, so then the student can know the goal that they must meet to satisfactorily complete that course with a passing good grade. Keep consistent records of grades in a spreadsheet, grade book, app, or planner, if that works for you. Okay, all of these are subjective because each home educator is different. For me, I don't do a lot of grades like that. At one point of my journey of homeschooling, I did grades, grades, grades. That's so much when I had 8 children. It was like, my life is not about grades. So now I do it by semester. Okay. How did they do in this course this first semester? How did they do in these courses the second semester? And then at the end, they get one final grade. Okay. Here are some meaningful assessment methods. So again, this is always a question I get. How can I assess? I'm just going to give you these ideas. You can use them or change it up, make it your own. Break down the expectations. Will it be based on content, accuracy, creativity, organization, or grammar? Again, you get to choose how you would grade that once they understand the expectations. Assign points to each category for transparency and fairness. Okay. So for me, like my kids, they just did a quiz. Each of them, they each have a literature book that they're studying, that they're reading through and writing. And then I will pop in a quiz on one of the chapters that they're reading to make sure they're comprehending and understanding it. 15 questions, you get 13 right, then I just divide 13 by 15, come up with a grade. Okay, just simple. So for me, that's fairness, and I'm letting them know how they're going to be graded. Just don't give them tricks. Be very transparent on their grading and what you're expecting. Example for an essay. Okay, so for English 1, 2, 3, and 4, part of that grade has to be on essay writing or composition is what we would call it, okay? Is their thesis clear? Do they know what a thesis is? Okay, first, let's make sure they know what a thesis is, and have they thought of a good, clear thesis, or you give them the thesis, okay? Is there evidence to support? Now, this is talking about their writing, okay? Composition writing. So evidence, support. So I give them freedom to write, and then they have to say how they, for example, my 10th graders and my 8th grader, I talk about them. So they're reading their different books. One is reading Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry. Another one is reading The Watsons Go to Birmingham. And another one, the youngest one, he's reading New Kid, right? Then they write a paragraph on each of those chapters. And what I expect them to do is pull an excerpt or a statement or something out that jumps out at them, explain it, and then how can they identify with what they just read? And how do they want to implement what they just read based on that one thing that jumped out at them? I'm wanting them to develop the ability to read and connect with what they're reading. That's my goal for them. And so if they continuously follow that, I keep giving them expectations, they keep meeting those expectations, then I grade them accordingly. Okay. Another thing, weekly quizzes and chapter tests. Great for math, science, history, and I've done it with their comprehension. Um, Use open book quizzes. I just did that with their chemistry. You can do that as well. Open book, open video. Create a quiz and um, then allow them to use their resources to do the quiz. If you are not put on to using Chat GPT for your helping with planning your kids' schooling, their tests, blah, 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 you are missing out. Chat GPT is a dear friend. I don't have time to read all of those books. I want to get a quick synopsis. ChatGPT, help me understand what is this book about. Help me to understand what this chapter is about. ChatGPT, create a quiz for this chapter for them and with the answer key, and it does it. So it keeps them on their toes. And at this point in stage of the game, I don't have to read all those books, come up with a quiz, and write that stuff like I used to do back in the day. Hallelujah. It's free. Utilize that. If you want to know what resources to ask ChatGPT anything, and it can help me with that. Mix multiple choice, short answer, and problem solving. I do that with their reading, okay, for their English. Oral presentations or recitations. This is great. You know, are your children high schoolers? Help them to learn things by memory, recitation, read the people in order to form a perfect union, blah, 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 that whole thing. Do they know that? I require that. I need to have my kids do it again. It was years ago. I'm sure they may have forgot it. But poems, poetry, different things. This is useful for language arts, foreign language, and literature. Great on their voice quality. A course I used to teach was Toastmasters for high school, how to speak and give oral presentations and that type of thing. I love that course. I may do it again for AUCHU. But with Toastmasters, it's all about how to speak and give speeches and write, articulate and not saying every few words or like. So it's a great program. If you never heard of that, Toastmasters, look it up. So then the other thing is rubrics or checklists make it easier and more subjective. So again, give them a rubric. So rubrics is I'm expected to see this in whatever that work is. Maybe it's 6 things. Let's talk about a rubrics from math. You're looking to see it written neatly, always written in a pencil. Problem is worked out and solved, blah, blah, blah. And so that's a rubric, 10, 20 points for each of those things right off the bat. And plus, if you get the problem correct, something like that. Give them the rubrics and the objective that you want to see as they complete their work. And again, we're talking about fair and meaningful grading practices for high schoolers. Meaningful assessment methods, okay? These are some other things how to assess. Assess on their lab reports or experiment journals. My kids are doing chemistry experiments. ChatGPT helped me come up with a list of them. And I am looking for certain things, what I want to see them do, and questions they had to answer according to that experiment. Again, ChatGPT to the rescue. Grade based on procedure accuracy. Grade based on procedure accuracy, observation, conclusions, and reflections. You get to choose. Again, if they do those things and they meet those requirements, they would get what grade. You let them know. Use a simple 4-part grading scale. Did they follow procedures? Accuracy of data. Was the information correct? Were they able to clearly explain it? And this depends on the subject. Was it neat and organized? Some courses and sub-subjects, some electives, I use just this. I'm looking for neat, accuracy. Did you do it well? And was it just thrown together? And I would grade accordingly. Lastly, meaningful assessment methods continued. Participation and effort. Did they put an effort into music appreciation? Did they participate? Did they find out about blues and listen to some different blues music or jazz music? Did you require them to learn about, different orchestra symphony works? I mean, what was it? Did they put an effort there? Grade them accordingly. Especially helpful for electives. So just participation and effort really is a good grading option for electives like art, PE. Uh, so this is, when mastery is less measurable, it's kind of hard. How do I grade them on husbandry? How well did they take care of the animals on the farm? Did they do well in the garden? Or did, maybe if they lived, all the vegetables and plants and flowers lived, they get an A or 100. If some of them died, less, so you get to choose. Grade based on completion of tasks, willingness to try, and then their improvement over time is all very subjective. And then lastly, portfolios, depending on their work, if they have to maintain a portfolio, you can grade them. Was it nice, neat, and organized? Did they keep that portfolio? Let them do self-assessment. Let them grade themselves. How well did they do? How well did they feel they did? Or it can be project based. Did they finish the project? If they did finish the project, you did a garden project, they finished what you wanted them to do, build a flower bed, buy the seeds, get the soil, start a compost, start planting, whether the plants lived or died. Did they finish the project? Grade them accordingly. That's just an idea. Okay. Next, let's talk about prepare clear and accurate transcripts. Okay. This is what I just finished doing. So I'm going to show you also what our transcript looks like so you can have an idea. AUCHU will complete your students' transcripts and maintain it. There's no additional charge for that. Part of your membership includes that service. I gladly calculate their GPA. Ranking will be provided if you get that information to me before the deadline of May 31st, which is the same deadline every year. And then course tracking. I will keep track of your student only has 3 Englishes and need just 1 more. They have 30 electives. They don't need any more electives. They have 1 social studies. They need 3 more. So I will track the students' courses for you. And I keep it for years, right? I send you a copy via email so you can always have it in your records. But I have students who have graduated 5, 10 years ago, and now they're coming back to me for their transcript. So I keep it. As long as I'm around, you have access to that. Let me show you an example of a transcript now, okay? So you can get an idea what that looks like. Here we go. All right, can everyone see this? Can you type in the chat if you can see this transcript or wave your hand or something? Let me know. Can you see this screen? Oh, yes, I can see it. Great, thank you. Okay. This is what our transcript looks like. Thank you, Rosa. Thank you, thank you. Oh, let me go back. Just lost it. Hold on. There it is. Okay. So on the transcript, I will have an issue date. When was the transcript issued? When did I actually give this back to you completed? We're going to talk about all the aspects of this because this is very important. I'm going to have the student's name. Let me go back. You will complete a AUCHU transcript form, okay? You will complete a form. It's always on page 2 of your membership package. It's on the website. I always put it in the newsletters right around April, May, June. April, May. You'll start seeing the transcript link come, but it's always going to be on your page 2 of your membership package. You're going to fill out that form, and on that form, you will have put the student's name. your school name. So by the time you're in high school, they're in high school, you want to have a school name so you can know where they're graduating from. Okay, this is an actual student's transcript. I just deleted their information off. Their address, South Carolina address, Social Security, just upon request. Gender, I need to add that to the transcript form. So you'll see that being added. Gender, male or female, is what I will ask you to put there because I try and do it by student's name, and often I can't figure it out sometimes because their name is not gender specific or I'm just not familiar. So the date of birth. And then here is a calculated GPA. I would do a class rank. The GPA is automatically calculated. Once I spit this information into my form, it calculates the GPA. I would type in the class rank based on all the students, 12th grade students or 11th or 10th, 9th grade students, based on all of those students and that grade level with your child, where did they rank based on their GPA? Okay, so students are ranked based on their GPA amongst their peers. Why is that important? GPA is important because that affects their class rank, but class rank also helps to determine if that child, if they're going to college, scholarships. If they're applying for a state scholarship, they have a high GPA, they're ranked number one or two in their class, and they have a high SAT that's adequate for, say, Palmetto Fellows. That's a state scholarship. Financial aid, if they're going to college, if they're ranked one, two, or three, and they get more money, just depending on where they're ranked, more money is given. Then if they apply for private scholarships, what have you, again, ranking matters. Then I put in the date I actually calculated this transcript. And then I will put the graduation date. You may say they graduated in April. That's wonderful. But if I don't calculate it to May, their graduation date can't happen before an actual transcript is completed. It just can't happen. It's backwards. I did that error at the beginning, and then colleges, and even still, I did this error a couple of years ago because the parents said they graduated this time, and I was like, okay. And but I didn't calculate the transcript till way after they graduated. They went off to college, and the college contacted me. Very nice that they did this and said, could you please adjust their transcript dates to show that they graduated after their transcript was calculated and issued. Okay, that's a big deal. I believe that now colleges are being audited and their transcripts that they have from high schoolers coming in are being audited. And if the dates are askew, not correct, uh, that student will not be able to attend or they will lose their funding or whatever. So you will always see the calculated date. Their graduation date is going to come after that. This student actually graduated back in May, but I couldn't, I had to change the date. And then I issued it on the 2nd. So you see, even their graduation date is after when I issued it. Okay. So let's look at the sections on the transcript. You always have English, language, arts. This student did 1, 2, 3 Englishes, and then their last English of 12th grade year, they did in college, North Greenville. And you see it as dual enrollment. Here I could change it to college prep, honors, dual enrollment. AP and dual enrollment has the same credit worthiness. Okay, so if it's AP, it's also dual enrollment, same credit. Okay, how many credit hours? You let me know. What was their numerical grade, not a letter grade, but a number grade. Then my system will automatically convert that 93 or whatever the number is into a South Carolina USG point system. And I'll show you what that looks like in a moment. The quality points always is the same. This point scale is 10, okay? And that's important because 6, 7 years ago, South Carolina was on a 7-point scale. So I have to tell my system this is a 10-point scale. And then they will make the adjustment based on the 10-point scale and then the quality points. And I will break that down and show it to you in just a moment. Next is science. You see they have 3 sciences with a lab. Here's mathematics. They have 4 maths. Next is social studies. Only 3 is required, but they have 1. Well, they have 2 half credits. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 credits for social studies. Physical education, only 1 is needed, but this student is active because they're in sports. And so they end up getting 4 credits of PE. I could have put some of these, and I did have some of these under elective, but the parent wanted them under PE and health, which is fine. So I just moved it. They took 2 years of a foreign language. Okay. They did for computer science, computer keyboarding, computer applications, half credit for those. Fine arts, they studied art history, music history, half credit. So you get to assess again the credit based on how much study that they give into that course. And then their electives, Bible, entrepreneurship, 1, 2, 3, and 4. They did entrepreneurship. I guess they had their own business, Bible, Christian worldview, Christian living, and leadership. And then my system will calculate how many credits the student got, 31. The goal is 34. And then based on this other information, it would then give a GPA. Okay. What will always be on your student's transcript is this information. I'm required by the state to have course type listed, dual enrollment, honors, college prep. I'm required to have the SCU, here we go, SCUGP grading scale, okay, which shows we're on a 10-point grading scale, which means an A would be 90 to 100, B 89 to 80, C 79 to 70, D 76 to 60, 70, excuse me, D 69 to 60, F 59 and below. When I was in school, we were on a 7-point grading scale, and it was totally different from that. Okay. When they're graduating, I will put final. This is to indicate this is the final transcript. No other will they get. I put it at the bottom. I put it at the top, final. If they're not in the 12th grade, they're 9th, 10th, and 11th, I will not put the words final. I have my signature. You, the home educator, are free to sign it once you receive it. My information is there. Okay. Let me show you this next screen. No, not that screen, this screen. This is the 10 points. Oh, that's a 7-point scale, 10-point scale. This is the 10-point scale. If I were to put a 7 instead of a 10 on the transcript, it will calculate based on this, the information you see here, but it's a 10-point scale. So you can see that for 100, an A is a 5.0 if it's college prep, 5.5 if it's an honors course, and if it's a dual enrollment class, it's calculated at 6.0. So some people wonder, how in the world can a student get a 5.2 or a 5.5? How is that possible to get anything higher than a 4.0? Well, if they do some honors or dual enrollment or anything like that, it will affect their GPA. Okay. So you can pull this up online. If you want a copy of it, I can send it to you. It is also in the parent handbook, this very form, so you can know how to calculate based on your number grade that you give your student. Okay. All right. So that's that. Let's go back. Any questions? If you do, put them in the chat box. I'm going to continue on with the rest of our presentation. Okay, let's go back to the presentation. All right. We're almost done. Even this is just a little bit more than an hour. So we're almost done though. So this. Okay. You saw the transcript. Let's continue. Okay, there we go. Okay, number 8, award full half quarter credits. Okay, very simple. We talked about this a little bit. A credit equals, you can award 1 credit, half credit, quarter credit, 3/4 credit. 120 hours equal 1 credit. We already talked about this, and I explained about the dual enrollment, where they only will receive 1 credit, even if they take college courses. On their transcript will only be 1 credit, while on their college transcript could be 2, 3, 4 credits for just one class. Number 9, we've already talked about that, so I will be skipping that. We've talked about the courses in detail. We've already discussed it, as you see. Number 10, find the balance between academic excellence and student enjoyment, okay? Start with the student's goals and interests. There are some courses they have to take for sure, but please be sure to include their goals and interests. What is it that they want to do as far as graduating and finishing their studies? Have intentional conversations with your student. What do you want to do after high school? If they know, great. If they don't, then, just do the basic course track. Or what do you enjoy learning about? Ask them that and be sure to include that in their studies. Let their goals guide the rigor, meaning if their goal is college or they're not sure, then make sure they're on a college-bound rigorous course that they need for higher level courses. But every student benefits from a every student benefits from a say in their schedule. I don't know what I was trying to say there. But every student benefits. Okay, I'm not sure what I was trying to say there, but basically, whatever their goals is, make sure the rigor of the work equals and matches that. Even if a student is unsure, staying on a college track will be beneficial. Maybe that's what I was trying to say. Build electives or unit studies around their hobbies. Okay. Electives, let them have fun at the things they love, and gaming, origami, animals, music, fashion, entrepreneurship, cooking, all of those things. Make sure that, their electives reflect that. Use engaging, flexible curriculum. Incorporate hands-on, real-life learning. Sometimes it's not always in a book. Maybe it's just hands-on, working with an uncle to build a shed or build a house or working on a car for a period of time. So those are electives. Prioritize quality over quantity. Include student choice in course selection. Please don't be like me. At the very beginning, for my first 2 children, I was so anal and driven with college that I didn't have these questions with them. It was like, you're going to do these things and that's it. Some things they, of course, need to do, but I didn't give room for them to give voice to what they were interested in outside of ballet or violin, or my son who was into Irish step and violin. Okay, so make sure to include them. Integrate the arts, tech courses, pop cultural. My one child, my 4th student, she had a love for a specific TV show. I don't even remember the course, but she wanted to start an Instagram page for it. She literally had hundreds of thousands of followers that she created, and she met people from all over the world. She became friends with a few of all of those hundreds and thousands of people. And to the degree that she just went to Italy this past year based on a friend that she met from this Instagram group. It was a trusted person. They stayed in contact, so let them, I'm going to say pop culture, but things with social media, include those things in their studies too, if they love that. Keep the learning environment encouraging, not fearful. Review and adjust each semester. Incorporate purpose and passion. And remember the big picture. The big picture is not just about getting a grade, heading to college, blah, blah, blah. It's about them having a full education where they love learning, will continue their learning outside of these books. This is just a little blip of their whole journey. The big picture is looking at them as a total human being with a whole life journey that's beyond curriculum. Number 11, preparing for AUCHU's yearly individual homeschool graduation plan, which I call IHGP. So if you don't know, every January, I will start posting this information in the newsletter around November. But every January, I host a yearly, each January, AUCHU has, I think that's supposed to be no, it's supposed to be yearly. It's just a space. Okay. It has yearly IHGP Zoom calls or Zoom video meetings with the student and parent. This is where we meet. You get an opportunity for me to help you lay the foundation or the map or the roadmap or path for the course of studies for the student, just depending on that student's desire. Sometimes students know what they want to do when they graduate, some don't. So, depending if they know, then I will help map out courses that they should have on their transcript. If they don't know, then we will just basically make sure they're meeting the basic minimum requirement for graduation based on what South Carolina requires. Okay, we will just map out their plan accordingly. And then let's go ahead and jump into our Q&A session, okay? So I'm going to open this up for you all to ask questions on anything that you've seen. The last thing is I'm going to give you my contact information so that you can reach out as needed, okay? So let me stop sharing. All right. And let's see, any questions that you all have about anything that I have covered? Any clarity needed?
I don't have any questions, but I just wanted to say thank you for all of the information. My son is nowhere near college, but this was really helpful because I always kind of wondered about it. But I'm sure like a lot of this information will kind of change over time. So
Yes, yes. Thank you, Jamila. It's always good to have this information ahead of time before you actually need it. It still helps you to, direct a path of where you're going to be going. So I'm glad to be able to give this information to people who have kids in elementary, middle school. This was very helpful. Thank you so much. You are so welcome, Rosa. Any questions or helps that you need? Is the grade scale template available for review? Yes. It's in the parent handbook. The link to the parent handbook is on page 2 of your membership package. It's also on our website. Mhm. So it's available for you so you can see it very clearly. Any other questions? You're welcome. You are welcome. Okay. So we're going to go back and finish out this. I'm hoping that no questions mean that it was very thoroughly laid out. But I'm sure once you get in the thick of it, then you may have some questions. But then again, just be sure to reach out to me. Okay. Okay. So last final takeaways and the contact information. So this is particularly for those who, let me see how to shrink this down. For those who are viewing this from YouTube or any other resource, this is what you need to know. So I want to just thank you all for joining on this month's AUCHU virtual mastermind meeting. Again, this course was on homeschooling high school with confidence, courses, credits, and college preparation under South Carolina Option 3. My final encouragement to you is that you are your child's best advocate. So you can do this. And of course, we're here to help you. All right. There's no cemented things that's required under option 3. Just remember that. So if you hear anyone say, you have to, you got to, you must, the only thing you have to do is math, science, social studies, literature, and composition if they're 7th to 12th grade. Okay, those are you have to do's. What is broken down under that is very subjective per family, per student. You can fall under what South Carolina public schools require, or you can go off and do your own thing. Okay. I will just tell you one thing. I had a family, maybe I was 3 or 4 years into this organization as a director, and she was assured that her students were not going to go to college. So they didn't take any type of college prep readiness courses, if you will. Sciences with no labs, all the maths were like consumer math, business math, basic math, things like that, nothing college level. So long story short of that is that the daughter, they were twin. I won't ever forget this. They were a boy girl twin. They graduated. She wanted to go off the grid and not follow anything that South Carolina required. And uh, years later, 5 years later, I'm going to tell you two stories because the other is just important about not completing the transcript for your child thoroughly. But years later, 4 or 5 years later, she wanted to go to college now, the daughter. And because she didn't have any type of college courses that she took on her transcript, it required her to have to do a lot of, I guess the word is remedial classes for college before she could actually take her college classes. If you understand what I mean. So uh, prepare and set your child up, not just for now. They may hate school right now, but in 5 or so years, they may mature and want to go to college, and have them set up to go right into college because that college didn't want to accept her because her courses were not strong. The other situation is just recently happened. Um, and this happens, it could happen to any of us. We are not on our game as parents, meaning we didn't keep good records. You all didn't have me do a transcript, or you didn't complete a transcript, because I don't have to do your child's transcript. That's not law. It's a service that I provide for you. You can do your own child's transcript and maintain it. Well, this parent, she had two graduating that year. They weren't the same age. They just were both graduating. And it was a very sad situation where that year her husband passed away. And so she was just not, she was all over the place emotionally, rightfully so. And one of her children, she remembered to give me the transcript, and the other, she did not give me the transcript information for. I even went through I keep all my emails, thousands of emails I get from all of my members. I kept the email while I sent her asking, can I get your daughter's transcript information? She didn't reply. And then again, I asked again because I knew we had just did one daughter's but didn't do the other. Lo and behold, just this year, this past schooling year for 24-25, the daughter who's now married, has a child, is preparing to go to college, and she asked me for a transcript. And I looked and looked and looked. I don't have a transcript, but I do see a transcript for your sister, and I do see emails that I sent to your mom asking for a transcript. And so I never completed it. So her mother had to then go through her records. If she kept her records, I'm not sure how the story went, but she then had to come up with a transcript because I didn't have anything to do as far as completing transcript. I think we did a ninth grade one, but nothing else after that. She graduated. She attended the graduation ceremony. At that time, I didn't require that I have completed the transcript to be in a graduation ceremony. But I was doing graduation ceremonies at that time. They graduated. It was beautiful. It was very sad. We were sobbing because, of course, the dad wasn't there. But so I tell you this, please, for all of you who are looking at this, make sure you keep your records in order for your children. Whether you do the transcript, great. Make sure you have those records because later things may change in life and they may choose, I want to get my PhD. And then they have to, where's the transcript? Where's the transcript? Or allow me to maintain it and keep it so that those things are in order. Okay, so that's it. If my contact information, thanks for joining. Again, I'm Angela Fafali Nyarko with AUCHU. I'm the owner and director. This is our website. So for members, you go to this website. All of our member resources are there. I think it says member resource. The parent handbook, transcript link, report card link, the 90-day, 180-day link, everything, all the resources are there. Or reach out to me by email, you all, and just let me know what you need and I'll get it to you. Here's the phone number, text anytime. I will get back to you as soon as I can, okay? So thank you all for joining. And if there's no more questions, I'm going to look once again. If there's no more questions, then we'll go ahead and end our meeting. This was almost an hour and a half. I knew it was going to be long. Any questions outside of this information, just in general, homeschooling things or anything at all? You're welcome, Yolanda. Okay, so I'm going to close it out. Questions, reach out to me, okay? You all have a wonderful summer. Happy summer. Be safe. And if you haven't done so already, registration is open. Please don't let your legal homeschool status lapse. Everyone's registration ends July 31st every year. So you can begin to register now. Please provide the link to the parent handbook online. Okay, let's provide the link. Okay, if you go to www.auchu.org and you go then to member resources, you'll see the parent handbook right under there. But if you go to your membership package, which is what as soon as you completed your registration, you're approved, I sent you an email, right? And the email is your link, which goes to your membership package, right? On page 2 of your membership package are also all of these links. Transcript, report card, parent handbook, 90-day, 180-day attendance card, all of that is there, and the website. On page 2 of your membership package is your friend. It has all of your links, okay? All right, if you still can't find it, you just email me or text me and I'll send it to you. All right, you all have a great night and happy summer. Peace.